Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. And yeah, today we are playing Stars Order 7. We're coming off the back of a disappointing end to a thrilling Triple Crown series. We did run Candy Star and Eve's Secret in the Derby. Eve's Secret didn't run particularly well. We know that if we run that a bunch of times, they probably win with Candy Star coming second. But as it was, Candy Star took it. Give them the chance then to run the Preakness and Belmont, winning the Preakness, which Eve Secret had probably been much better suited for. And then the Belmont we thought was pretty good because distance adaptability and running slightly better than Eve Secret at a mile 4 in those trials we ran. Video of that, by the way, is up on the tips, tricks, and tutorials playlist for Starters Order 7 we've got. And yeah, we didn't quite get the distance. We didn't quite feel comfortable and good about it. So, um, yeah, it didn't end up great, but we kind of ran okay, and I'm good with it right now. I'm pretty proud of this group of horses being probably better than I thought they would. We were for a long time looking like just Candy Star would be the only one on distance, and then Eve Secret did jump to join. Um, and then a couple of others jumped to join, with Stardrum finally gaining a little bit of stamina. We were waiting on them for a long time, to be fair. And then Eve's Water jumped as well, and I thought that was okay and gave us options. But after the trials, we knew the two we wanted to send in. We did that, and then after those Triple Crown races, both Eve's Morton and Modern Eve have both jumped to a mile 1, mile 2 kind of territory. So, yeah, we're kind of stuck to book races. Eve Secret didn't get the Preakness, and I'm feeding the Queen's Plate and the Belmont Invitational to them, which is pretty much taking a race from Morton or Stardrom at that point. But I feel a little bit like I owe Eve Secret for some like tiny amount of reason. While they're going on, our only affiliate 3-year-old is going to take the Dan Smartly Grade 2 and the Belmont Oaks Invitational, exactly the same meetings as Eve Secret is running. So Calvin's already there. He's already booked on Eve Secret for both of those. So we'll just run Modern Eve in those. And then Candy Star we're going to take down to a mile 3, which I think is a good distance. Mile 2, probably where they like to run. So a mile 3 and a mile 1 with adaptability, which he has, isn't a big deal, I don't think. But I don't want to run him at a mile 4, which unfortunately takes some fun races in this schedule off the table. Stuff like the Arc de Triomphe, I'm not fully convinced I should run. I really want to. We might end up doing it. We might give it to somebody else. But like, I just don't feel as confident now on the back of that Belmont giving it to Candy Star. So a little bit of interesting bits and pieces. Eve's Water as well, going in for the mile 3 United Nations. I think my only other option was Stardrum, but they performed so well, like, and looked so good to go into the trials and underperform and look as bad as they did. Um, yeah, I find it hard giving them runs over other horses, especially horses which also need Grade 1 wins. Talking of that, Hig Morton has just run at Ascot for the Coventry. Won by a short head. We tried to run it twice. I recorded a whole intro of like 10 minutes, catching up on everything, kind of like I've done here in half the time. Um, and then we ran this race and it just crashed basically as the race itself was loading. So I tried again and again, and then we just decided to skip it and yeah, just record after it because there's still an issue with Ascot. I thought it had been fixed. We've definitely watched a couple of races there. I feel this was on turf B. I wonder if it's just the turf B track that's crashing. I've tried exporting it. I've tried replacing it. There's just something not fully right there. So I don't know, but I like where our 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds are. I think we've got some real quality. We've got some real good horses. Their stats look good. The results have been really good. Even with all the messing about we've had to do with a few of these horses, we're still, 25 out of 36 wins this year. We're closing in on 9 million prize money. We're only at the halfway point of the year. There's still some really big races to go. So I feel pretty good. I think the 2-year-olds will get where they need to go. They probably won't max out their potential. Hey Candy needs a mile, which is going to be crazy, and H5 as well. So they need the grade and they need more potential. So they might get a run, but also I've got to keep double checking to make sure they're fit and ready to race, because they could just easily be you're close to over racing the horse. We see that a lot. No matter what this juvenile constitution or this constitution bar says, sometimes the bars don't make sense, especially those. So we will keep an eye on that. But we will go to Eve's Water, almost unbeaten. We got a second place in there earlier this year. Bubba Meyer's decent. Almost Book, we know. I don't really. I've seen a couple of these horses run. I don't really remember anyone doing anything great form wise. Doesn't really look like anyone's done anything either. Um, I would kind of bet on Eve's Waters. We're here for the Monmouth 1 mile 3 furlongs United Nations Class 1 Grade 1 race for 3-year-olds and above upon the turf. But that's that first part that worries me, the mile 3. This is a mile 2, maybe even a mile 1 horse that's got, I think, 10, maybe 20, but okay, well, that's fantastic. I don't know why my recording software stopped recording. It did, and I've just spent the last 15, 20 minutes complaining about this game not making sense to me, from Candy Stars Belmont and Eve's Secrets, Kentucky Derby not making sense. And then Eve's Water ran pretty poorly just now, and I was like, I don't know why that is, and like how to get things more consistent. And Eve's Morton just ran a 6th place finish that, again, just doesn't really make sense. Up in Canada, so a little bit of a trip up there, but not really crazy. A mile 110 for the in Fort Erie. What race was it? The Prince of Wales. Totally blanked on that. Like I don't fully know why, but like we had no pace. We started off near the front, and then we just kind of watched horses go past us, and there was no challenge. There was no litness to it. It just said don't have pace, but we kind of have all the stats you want for pace, and we've won at Chartin quite comfortably at a mile 2. And okay, this is a mile 1, and perhaps that's a factor. And we've got adaptability, and the adaptability isn't coming in like the adaptability for Candy Star didn't come in for the Belmont. And I'm getting really confused by it. And like I said, I went over this whole 15-minute rant that I didn't realize wasn't recording. Not really a rant, just like stream of consciousness, and like this just doesn't make sense. I don't know why this race happened and that and this and that. Like just a lot more detail, a lot more in depth about all the horses. We even got Stardrom a run in the Haskell, and that's not here. But like against Dovers, Daffodil, Hamur, Duckling, Dairy, Bolton, Kuzatov. We've run against these horses. These are good horses. We've been beaten by these horses. Now you look at that top four in the Belmont that beat Candy Star and ruined our chance at getting the Triple Crown. I know it's a mile 4 versus mile 1.5, but still, like, that's the quality of horses. And Stardrum quite comfortably went out and did that. So, yeah, everything's really confusing basically right now. And I do feel like this is a slow descent into madness where everything's not making sense. And then we win. Like, Candy Star got her win. Got his win. That's okay. And then Easewater was winning. And like, this was too much distance, I guess. We're going to see if that fixes itself. But I'm pretty sure we'll win now after this seventh. Just like, Modern Eve coming ninth year in the Grade 2 up in Canada, which apparently, no, you can't run Canada. It's just way too difficult all of a sudden. But we can win the Oaks by, a decent amount there and take a Grade 1 instead of the Grade 2. And yeah, none of that makes sense to me. None of that makes sense to me. So, you can have your say in the comment section and try and help me figure it out. But basically, yeah, Stardrom wins that. Eve Secret wins the the Belmont Invitational by 2.5. Eve's Morton just got blown apart up in Canada. Modern Eve got blown apart in Canada, but wins the Belmont Oaks Invitational by a decent amount. So kind of where we are with everything. Oh, and all of these now are at a 7 furlong to a mile, and there are no group races at this distance at this time in the season. So I don't know, really. I don't know. Hey Candy is unbeaten in 3, and Stardrom is unbeaten in 8. So there's that. But I wish it all just made sense. I wish it all made sense. Yeah, I kind of booked out all the races on the schedule, so we're just gonna have to kind of skip forward to the next race and carry on. And so, yeah, we just keep going, I guess. Like, I didn't even check who the jockeys were. Who you got? Julian Pimental. Cool. Cool. So the one 3-year-old that doesn't have a grade 1 does not have a good jockey. So, yeah, let's see. Kind of what happens next. I think that's kind of all you can do in this situation. He's water. Oh, Pacific Classic at Del Mar. Kind of know some of these horses. Not bad. It's not a bad field. It's not an amazing field, but it's not a bad field. So, I know Citrine's here, Celeste's here, Balaguin's here. So, our favourite as well, Danza Panza, is here, Dana Panza. So, okay, game's not speeding up. There we go. Some reason didn't register at first, but yeah, Zamakot up here with the Dana. I've done it again, boys and girls. The fun does not stop here. Dana Panza, Champagne, Ballygulline, Tennessee, Starine, Cecile, Punita Gran, and Wolfrieda at the back. Halfway now round the course to go. On to this long left-hand turn. We're kicking out. We're going early Eves water with the water in behind. Here comes the field. Final furlong. Chance to push out. We're not going to do this, are we? We're going to get absolutely murdered. Punita Gran, Zamakota coming back up into it. Dana Panza on the line. Getting up, I believe, into second. Oh, boys and girls, slightly shorter. You can't just be a mile one. You can't. You can't. You beat out Crabbies at a mile two. You beat out a bunch of really good horses at a mile four. You can't just be a mile one. How are you a mile one? That makes no sense to me. At least the game's trying to tell me something, or Candy Star gets absolutely butchered in a mile two. I guess I didn't realize that we're doing two races today. Yeah, this might be a really short episode because, like, I have recorded 15 or 20 extra minutes here. See, I think we're at like probably 25 right now from what you're seeing. It's probably 25. For me, it's like almost 45 minutes that I've been recording. And it's not making sense. All these races are races that the quality of the horse, I think we should win. And okay, distances might have messed up like two of those races, but like, how's Candy Star not winning at a mile two? Like, Ease Morton should be winning there after winning the QE2. 100%. 100% should. We can't win a grade 2 in Canada, but then we win the Oaks Invitational. Like, at least this makes sense. We had a bad run in the Derby, that's fine. I can kind of accept that, and we're straight back to winning ways. You're way too good over a mile 2 and a mile 4 to be just a mile 1 horse. I don't get it. You were just absolutely awful, but our only perfect horse. And then Candy Star struggle at a mile 4, but like nails a mile 3, but then suddenly we can't get a mile 2. And it's like just confusing me, really confusing me. None of this makes a ton of sense. None of it makes a ton of sense. Oh, we got races. Do we have any good races? Who's gonna be 5? Like only 5, you're right. Only 5 was 5 furlongs. But then won the grid. No, you might actually be a 6. Are you 5? Don't think you really were. You failed your maiden and Excel. Don't think anyone's 5, so I'd normally put a 5 furlong 2-year-old into a 7 furlong race when they gain distance and put the 6 furlongs into a mile. But it could be we're all at a mile. Then the only other thing I'd really look for is high acceleration and good start compared to the speed. And then low cruising burst, extra, a lot of extra speed. And I don't feel that that's going to be any of these. It could be Hey Candy. It could be. I don't feel that 7 furlong is right. The hopeful, that's a bad name for it because I never have any good luck in that one. So I'm never hopeful of the hopeful. The futurity, different kettle of fish. And O'Brien, yeah, the Goswinson O'Brien. That's something I've had a little bit with too. So I could run all of them in grade 1 sevens. Got the summer. It's up in Canada. We don't want to run Canada anymore. We've had enough of Canada. We died in Canada. Nothing made sense in Canada. Futurity Candy. Vincent O'Brien, 5e, because I don't want to put them in the hopeful that I never win. Screw it, we're not even going to run the hopeful. just just double down and go to Ireland. Let's go to Cara. Why not? Yeah, nothing makes sense. Who cares? It is what it is. What it is. Yeah, you were a mile one in the Woodwood. Let's try and get Eve's Water a grade one. Because Morton Eve is, or he's Morton. I mean, Stardrum is Star. I was kind of like thinking like who can I run at a mile one if there's other mile ones, and there's not, but Stardrum's probably the one to go for, right? And I don't love it. I don't love any of this. I would run Candy Star, but they've just run, which means I think we might as well run York and take the international there. We're international. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. A slow descent into madness here. Quite quick, actually. We kind of tumble head first. Um, and the Travers, we could run Candy Star. We could. I feel like Modern Eve might have. I was going to say on the right, but they kind of haven't, but who cares? Um, unless there's a Phillies only, which there sometimes is. Ooh, the Irish champion. That should be Eves Morton. That should be Eves Morton at a mile two. I kind of want to run Candy Star there, but I think I gotta let other horses have runs, and so I booked the wrong race. We're gonna send Eves Morton out for a mile two. I just feel this is asking for trouble, right? This is just asking for trouble. But we do so well here that this just doesn't make sense doing so badly. There can't be 11 lengths difference in half a furlong race. And you can't tell me this quality of field is so much higher than this one. And this is the much shorter trip abroad. We go north of the border, or we go all the way over to the other side of the world, really, for Hong Kong. So yeah, maybe Fort Erie was just a really bad run. Maybe it's just an unbelievable domestic field that's never won any races and has terrible form. Um, I don't know, but a trip to Ireland, sure. Like we're going anyway. We'll run Eve Morton the day before and have the 2-year-olds running at Curragh. Um, and that's probably about it, right? Yeah. Could run a mile three, could run a mile four with Candy Star, and just see. Got the Northern Dancer. I don't really want to do that. Um, we could just try a mile four with Candy Star. Sure. Like, why not? And then Stardrom's got a mile one to a mile two. I don't really want to run outside of that, and we're not going to have anything we haven't already booked. So Yeah. I mean, you two have both just run, but neither one of those really feels great for Star Drom. It would be use water, but I need to try and get that grade 1 for my own sanity. What little we have left, I kind of want to preserve as much as possible. So, okay, we're just going racing. We're just going racing. We're going to York. Don't think this is going to crash. If it does, then it might be a really short video. So, I need this to win. I need this to win. This is a really good horse. It deserves so much. It's been very consistent with like just not a great Kentucky Derby, but really consistent. Killed the trials. I need this to win for my sanity. Thoughts and prayers down in the conversation. That's not what we call it, but yeah, in the conversation below, comment section. See, even my brain is betraying me now. We're not really going very well. Aaron Spinnaker, I didn't really realize you were here. Spark Daily, Titania's Tomb, Sunnybridge Changes, Majestic Mate, I don't know. I think I've named them all there.